going to talk about, in today's lesson, what we're going to focus on is composing. Now, this is the Apprentice Stage, and we have the Apprentice Stage, the Maestro Stage, and the Virtuoso Stage. So right now, this is the Apprentice Stage, and it's the this is the 5th week of the month. Usually we don't have a lesson on the 5th week, but we're doing a makeup lesson for our weekly group online piano students today. And so in today's lesson, we're going to be focusing on creative composition. Now, remember, the first week of every month, we focus on the new cool song. We focus on the essential piano exercise. The second week of every month, we actually focus on learning about theory therapy. The third week is innovative improvisation, and the fourth week is creative composition. So today we're going to be talking about how to compose music. Just very simply, since this is the Apprentice Stage, in about 30 minutes stage, then we'll start focusing on how to compose at a little more advanced, kind of intermediate level. And then when we go to the Virtuoso Stage at 2 o'clock, then we will really have more advanced means of composing music. Right now, I'm going to go to the overhead view, and I'm just going to show you a simple chord progression and composition. We're going to start learning how to compose music of our own. So watch this. This is the overhead view. When we start composing, I tell students all the time, to compose is simply to use your music theory. So we're using theory when we compose, but primarily we're coming up with melody and harmony. Now, when you are composing something, you can create using intervals and chords and scales. Let me show you. This is just a simple composition. I'm just going to come up with something on the spot, and I will even ask those who are attending or watching this live, you can let me know what you would like to have me compose. Again, this is for beginner level students, so it's not going to be anything too advanced. But if I take a C major scale and I go from C to C, I can start to use these notes to create a melody. Now, when we compose, we can actually create a melodic composition or an harmonic composition. And we have the two that we can create. If we are creating a melodic composition, we are coming up with a melody. Let's say I take the C major pentascale. Now, that is the C major pentascale. It's pretty simple, not too difficult. I'm going to take my left hand and play a perfect fifth interval. Again, this is an interval. It's a perfect fifth interval. I can take those 5 notes with my right hand. I can play them any order and any rhythm, and I can create something. Now I can go faster. Let me come back to the front view here just for a second while we talk about this. And again, I am just composing. Oh, let's see. Oh, let me double check. I'm just going to check a few sound settings just for 1 second. Hold on. Let me look at this. I'm just going to check a few sound settings just for 1 second. Okay, good. That is looking good. Let me mute that. Now, when we're composing something, we can do a melodic composition or an harmonic composition, or we can do a holistic composition where you do everything together at the same time. Right now, I want to think of melodic composition and harmonic composition, just those two separately. When you come up with a melodic composition, we're going to create a melody line first. We're going to come up with a simple melody. Now, again, this is for beginning level piano students, this video. We'll do intermediate level students in half an hour, and then at 2 o'clock, we will do advanced composing for virtuoso students, where it's much more difficult. But right now, we're just composing for beginner level students. We're going to come up with a melody and a composition. This is part of our creative composition. Let me go back to the overhead view. Now, staying in line with that 5-finger pattern, it's a C major pentascale. I can actually, if I want, I can move to the right. That's a D minor pentascale. See, I can just go to the right. Use any of those 5-finger patterns. Now, they're all pentascales because a pentascale is a scale that has 5 notes. My left hand, I can start to move up using the perfect fifth interval. Okay, I'm just moving to the right. So watch this. Pretty simple. If I think in terms of these chords moving up to the right, or you can think of the pentascale, okay, moving up to the right. If I think of this as 1, C major, then 2, D minor, then 3, E minor, 4 is F major, 5 is G major, 6 is A minor, 7 is B diminished, and then 8 is C major. Well, what if, for fun, I just focus on a 1, 4, 5 chord progression? 1 is C major, 4 is F major, 5 is G major. That's it. 1, 4, 5. So C major, 1, F major, 4, 5 is G major. What I'm going to do is just play the perfect fifth interval with my left hand. I'll start with the 1 chord, and I could jump up to the 4 and then the 5, but for fun, I'm going to play the 1 chord here and then jump down to the same 4 chord, just an octave below, and then go to the 5 right there, just using a perfect fifth interval. Now, obviously, you won't have your fingers back like this. I'm doing this just for demonstration purposes. You would keep your fingers nice and curved, okay? Fingers nice and curved, okay? Almost like your hand is like this. It's a nice and curved state. I'm just demonstrating. So this is my perfect fifth interval. Well, here, with the right hand, I can take any of these 5 notes, play them any order I want, any rhythm, and I can start composing. I'm starting to compose. Now, what if I go up to the F with my right hand? My left hand, I'm going to jump down to that perfect fifth interval with the left hand. If you want, you can jump up. You're the composer. You can compose and create however you want. But I'm starting, and then I'm jumping up to the F, and then I'm jumping up to the G. This is the chord progression. Remember, it's the 1, 4, 5. So we start with C major, jump up to F, jump up to G. I went back to F and then go back to C. Now, you could start composing. I'm just showing you the progression, the chord progression. We're using those 5 notes. If you are coming up with a melodic composition, you will focus on the melody. Now, harmonic composition is focusing on the chord progression. What we already talked about, the chord progression. But if I'm focusing on a melody, then I'm going to focus on how I can create an interesting sound in this example, just using these 5 notes. What if I start with little children? I will even tell them, pretend like you have your thumb is 1, pointer finger is 2, middle finger is 3, ring finger is 4, and then pinky is 5. What if you just called out random numbers 1 through 5? What if I said 5, 4, 3, 2? And I repeat that over and over again. And I ended putting that C down at the very end. Now, if you notice, my right hand stayed in this C position, and my left hand played C and G, the perfect fifth interval, and then I went to the F, and then I went to the G, the perfect fifth interval, but my right hand stayed. Do you know that you can use that C pentascale position for any of those notes, and they sound great? You could also use it if you want for A and E. So I could start here. I could go down to the A and E perfect fifth interval. I could go down to the F. Then I could go to the G. Now, I'm just creating a melody with my right hand. I'm using the pen, going up and moving down. The nice thing is you have these notes and you can start to create a melodic line. Sometimes people will ask me how you create a melody, and I'll say you can hum. I'm going to come back here to the front view for just a second. I'll say students can hum, and you can start to create a melody. And you can just take those 5 notes. Da 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 da. You can start to hum a melody. Just start humming random notes, C, D, E, F, G. I'll have other students that'll say, if you can play another instrument, just start playing around. I love recorders. Now I have guitars over here, bass guitar, electric guitar, acoustic guitars. I have drums, I have keyboards, I have accordion, saxophone, banjo. I've got a lot of interesting instruments. I just love instruments in general, and I love to play all instruments. But I love creating melodies with recorders. Sometimes I'll use harmonicas to create a melody, but I love just creating a sound. Now, I may have to pull my microphone out a little bit if I were to create a sound with this, and it may be pretty loud because this is close by. I'll try to pull this out. But listen to this. Maybe I'll pull it a little closer. I'm trying to do it while having it in my mouth. Can you even hear that? Let's see. Actually, you can. Yeah, you can hear that. So sometimes I'll start with a recorder, and I'll take like C, D, E. I played 3 notes, 3 simple notes, C, D, E, and I was just playing around. And obviously I like wooden recorders, real recorders, but they're much more expensive. But let me show you when I go back here. If I take just those 3 notes, I started on the E. I just started creating a simple melody. Da 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 da. You can start at the bottom. Da 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 da. See, I'm creating a melody with just 3 notes. Now I could start to play around and really have fun with that. Now I'm starting to play around. Again, I'm just using the first 5 notes. My left hand is playing a perfect fifth interval. This is how you start creating and composing. Now, what is my left hand doing? It's a perfect fifth interval. I'm pretending like the pinky is playing a whole note that I'm holding down. And then my thumb is going up and down like I'm playing 4 quarter notes. And then I went down to the A and E, again, the perfect fifth interval, but I went down to the A and the E because I'm following that chord progression of C, A, F, G. It's a 1, 6, A minor, 4, F major, 5, G major. 1, 6, 4, 5. That's what I'm doing with my chord progression. Okay, I'm starting to play around with that. Now, if I want to hold that pinky down again, I can do this and then move down to the A. I changed the chord progression. Instead of doing the 1, then the 6, 4, and 5, I played 1, then I went to the 4, and then I went to the 6, and then I went to the 5. What if I start with the 6? And again, remember, when I say 6, from C major, since C major is the key signature, and I'm only doing the white keys here, that becomes 1. So if I count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. When you add the triads or the 3-note chords, that's C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, C major. Now that chord progression is the same in every key signature. If I went following the circle of fifths in my book, Essential Piano Exercises, I include the circle of fifths as an example. In the circle of fifths that you see right here, and it shows you, I'll bring this up here a little closer. You have C major has a relative minor, A minor, 0 sharps, 0 flats. Sharps go to the right. If we go to the right over there, you'll see that G major has 1 sharp, and that happens to be, if I come down here, F sharp. There you go. G major has 1 sharp, it's an F sharp. Okay, so in the key of G major, we have, if I go from G to G, we have all white keys except for the F sharp. Well, that chord progression is the same in every key signature. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, major. I can start to play these pentascale patterns and go through every key. So if I did this, that's in the key of C. Well, if I wanted to, I could go up half a step. I could do that in every key. This is where we practice doing all of the pentascales. In every key, just moving up in half steps. Now, what I'm trying to help you understand is how you can take this theory, and again, it's the practical application. You can start to play around with it. What if I am in the key of C and I take this pentascale pattern and I apply it like I showed you at the beginning, on starting on D and E and F and G, then A, B, and C. My left hand would follow wherever my right hand is starting. What if I went up to the A? this is how you can quickly start to compose. All I'm doing is I have my right hand playing the pentascale that matches up where, if you notice, my pinky is on C, and I play the perfect fifth interval. My right hand can play the C as well. If I went to the D, then I would just move to the right, go to the E, and then F, G, A, B, and C. Again, think of this as 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, this is 7, and this is 8. So now if I call out random numbers, let's start with 1. And I'm just going to make something up with the right hand using any of these notes starting with 1. That's 1. What if I go to 3? What if I go to 4? Do you see how I'm moving according to the scale? What if I go to 6? And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What if I go to 4? What if I go to 1? What if I go to 2? What if I go to 3? What if I go to 4? What if I go to 5? I just composed that. It's very simple. What if I really want to create something that sounds very melodious, and I start to play around with this? Now I'm going to jump around. Do you see what I did? I started with 6, and then I jumped down. Instead of staying on the 6, I went down to the F right here. Now my hand is in the F position with the right hand. And then I went to the G, and then I dropped down to the 3rd right here, E. And my right hand is just playing those notes with A. Then I went down to F. Then I went to G. And then I went down to E. That is 6, 4, 5, 3. That's the chord progression. I can go back to see if I want. I went from minor to major, but all I'm doing is using these patterns, chord progressions. This is how we start composing. It's very simple. And again, start with C major. That's 1. Go to A minor. That's your 6th chord. Go to F major. That's the 4 chord. And then go to G major. That's the 5 chord. You can jump around. You notice how last time I started with 6, went to 4, went to 5, then I went to 3, then you could play the 4 and then drop down to the 2. If you notice, this is what I was doing. I was just jumping down with the chords. let me show you. I'm just going to play around. I'm going to make it a little more. I know this is beginner level, and we'll get into intermediate level here in just a minute with the Maestro Stage. But let me show you. I'm just going to embellish and make this sound a little more grandiose. I'm just composing this on the spot, and I want you to try to compose something like this on the spot as well. Now, sometimes I did try to get a little fancy with my left hand, but guess what I did? If I had the A, instead of doing the perfect fifth interval, I would do an octave interval where I would just play the A, and then I'd jump up and play the A an octave higher. And my right hand sometimes would play this A minor pentascale. I'd play it here, and then I would just jump up an octave, but I'd play the same thing. But it sounded really cool. You could do so much with that. Let me come back to the front view. We're going to stop this lesson right here for the Apprentice Stage because I'm going to start up with the Maestro Stage here in just a minute. So if you're watching this within the portal, if you're one of my weekly online group piano lessons, you have the link where you can watch this live. I am sharing this on some of my social media pages just for the next few weeks where everyone will be able to watch it live. And then if you would like to watch it and attend the weekly group online piano lessons, you can sign up for our weekly group online piano lessons by visiting my website, musicmotivation.com. But I'm excited to have you practice composing. Again, this was just a simple chord progression. We did the 6, 4, 5, 3, and 2, A minor, F major, G major, E minor, D minor. And it was a basic chord progression, but the right hand was just using 5 notes to create a melody. It was a pentascale. Try that, play around with it, and see what you can create and compose. Hope you have a great rest of the week. Thank you for everyone who watched this live. We're going to be starting our Maestro Stage here in just a minute. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. See you guys. Bye.